had it in my mind for like ever growing up that like you couldn't make a living being an artist. And I just like didn't allow myself to dream about doing that until like really recently. And what I had intended on doing was becoming an art teacher. And this way, like I would have like a steady paycheck, I would have the insurance and all that lovely stability of a normal job. But when I graduated college, we were in the middle of the recession, and New York wasn't hiring any new teachers at the time. So I was like, oh, all right, well, fuck. And so I just kind of like hung out for a while. And then like I was working in like restaurants, and I was doing that for a really long time. And then I was like, oh, I really should get like a real job when I was around like 24 or something. And I started taking the test in New York to get certified to become a teacher. And I found out that this was like 2013, I think. I found out that they weren't giving the art subject test until 2017. So like 4 years. I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do for 4 years? I can't get a
Yeah.
job. And then Eric and I, my husband, we moved to New Jersey eventually, like maybe like a year or so later. And I was like, all right, let me try to become a teacher here. So of course, New York has to have different certification tests in the entire country. So I had to redo all these tests for New Jersey. And that took 2.5 years to get through all the testing. And then because I didn't have the education background in college, I had to do this alternate route thing they do. And I started doing that. I had setback after setback after setback. And then I finally got to the point where I could be hired. And I was like, I don't think I want to be a teacher. I was like, I don't think I like kids. What the fuck am I doing? So that was like 2 years ago. And then that's when I started on my path to like doing my art full time.
Yeah, so kind of like working for yourself route. That's where you're going, you think?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I actually, this entire time that my little journey that I just told you about, I was still working in restaurants, waitressing and bartending. And it's been over a year now that I quit that with the help of Eric, of course. But yeah, now it's like I'm working for myself. I never want to work for anyone else ever again. And I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, that's kind of the route I want to take. Like, well, I mean, I kind of went down a similar path. Like, I started with music recording, and then I went into, well, then for a little bit, I switched to English. Like, I mean, it took me a long time with like early college. Like, I was in a county college for like many years. Then I finally finished that, and then I went to Kane for like film, like because I got into like doing filmmaking, and then
Yeah.
when we were doing the film classes, I was like, oh, I want to get like I'd always jump in front of the camera whenever they
Oh,
were like
okay.
shooting something. So then after that, I kind of fell into acting and doing that, and then I was doing this podcast since then. So then I went to like study journalism, and because that's kind of what I'm doing, like interviewing or like bringing on people. So then yeah, but now at this point it's like I want to do anything like media related. So like I'm still like auditioning for like voice acting roles and like applying to like media production jobs too.
That's really cool. I've secretly always wanted to have a voice acting job.
I,
I
yeah,
don't know
I
why, but
just
it just seems like fun.
oh yeah, I did one recently. It was like a stop motion short where I voiced like different characters. One was Rich Lee. Well, I don't know if like I should talk too much about it before it comes out,
Okay.
but he was but yeah. And then today I did another audition where I voiced like multiple characters, and one of them was like a female character, but like it was the script. So and I have a low
Sure.
voice, so I just to do the female character, I made her like that, like those women who smoked the cigarettes and they had the very low voice. Like that was the only kind of woman I could do was like a voice like that.
I
And
love
then
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
then I
hope you
had
get
the
it.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, and the male character was like, well, I talk like this, and I did another character that talked kind of like this recently too, and
Yeah.
yeah, been
That's really
interviewing people in outer space too, so that's yeah. Oh yeah, what were you gonna say?
that's that's super exciting. I hope whenever the other thing gets released, you let me know. I'll go check it out
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll probably post it on the Instagram.
on the
Yeah,
on the gram.
yeah. But yeah. So I've seen like some of like you did a sculpture of like an octopus in a playground. I saw that was one of the
Yeah,
things.
so
Yeah.
I didn't make that, but I got to help repaint it. And what was cool about that is that it's in the playground where I grew up. So I grew up in Marine Park, Brooklyn, and they redid the whole playground to have like this marine life theme. And then like years after it had already been made, the paint wore away, so they did like this whole like volunteer group thing to help repaint the park and make it look nice again. And they let me come in and paint the octopus, and they let me have a little bit of freedom because I got to paint these in the eyes of the octopus. I got to paint like a little skyline of Manhattan in the eye that was facing towards Manhattan, and then in the other eye it was facing towards Coney Island. So I got to do the little landscape of Coney Island in that eye.
Nice.
It's still there.
So you kind of like put your own. So it was their idea, but you like kind of put your own touch in it. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I got to do what I wanted with it, which was cool. They gave me like free reign.
Yeah. So like, what's most of your work focused on? Because I know you did the Homer Simpson drawing. Like, there's cartoons, and then you do like sculptures where you make like things people can buy, kind of like.
Yeah, so I do like a whole range of stuff actually, but like my personal art, I do a lot of like somewhat pop culture stuff. I am doing in the Simpsons series right now, like you mentioned. I started that actually during quarantine just to like have something to do, because once the quarantine and the lockdown began in March, I was like, well, I have all this time now to be home, I better produce stuff, because otherwise what am I doing? So that's where the birth of the Simpsons series started, and I really, really love it. I'm a huge Simpsons fan, have been my whole life. So so I started doing that, and then like a lot of my other like personal art that I create also can focus around like pop culture stuff. Like I've done like a piece on like The Professional, that movie.
Oh yeah, that was way back, right? Was that the guy with I think he was like the Russian actor or something like that. He's like a hitman. Yeah, I remember that. Like way the 90s.
Natalie Portman's in it. Like
oh yeah,
11 in it or something. So I do that. I don't know. I also did like I don't know if you saw, I had the flower lamp on my Instagram. I found this.
I did see that. Yeah, and it had a little bit of like soil too, right?
Yeah, so I found like the frame of it in the garbage, and I was like, oh, it's a really cool like lamp idea. So I took it home and just repurposed it, made it kind of psychedelic. I put the moth on the bottom.
Nice. So it's kind of like so what kind of art is that exactly, like putting things together like that? Like
that's why I call it mixed media, or it's called mixed media, because you're using all these different materials to come together to like do one cohesive piece. So I'm not just like painting with one type of paint. I'm using, I could paint in it. I could sculpt. Like in that piece specifically, I painted the leaves, the glass for the petals and the leaves of the flower. And then on the bottom of it, I put mushrooms, but I sculpted those out of clay, and I painted those and I sealed those up. So yeah, I'm just using all different materials to come together to make one piece.
Nice. And then so like where do you plan to go from there? Like are you like making a shop for people to like buy ornaments and stuff, or?
Yeah, so I have a website up now. It's danagambale.com, DANAGAMBALE.com. And I have a shop up there. I have prints up. I have little like tchotchkes I make, like earrings, handmade earrings, face masks. And then I also have a shop for my original pieces as well. So as I finish a piece, I put them up there. And I've been working with a creative business coach actually the last I want to say 7 months or so. And she like specializes in doing like creative businesses. So she's helped me like redo my whole website, and she's really helped me with like the SEO stuff to really like get it moving. Because this is what I want to do like from here on out, just try to make the money come to me through the traffic and build my audience.
Yeah. So is there like, what are you expressing like when you make stuff? Is there like, is it there like any kind of like metaphor, I guess, with it or anything, or is it just kind of like making something cool and putting it together?
Oh, sorry, you froze, so I missed that whole question.
I froze. Oh, is it it's like when you make something, is there like a double meaning with it? Like, is there a metaphor, or is it more just kind of straightforward, like putting something
Um, Usually it's pretty straightforward with me. I not that things can't have double meanings, and sometimes that it just happens that way, and I like it. But for me, like I really like straightforward kind of art. Like I don't like to be like. Of course, I want people to look at it and take away from it what they feel it is or what they want to take away from it. But I like when you can look at a piece of art and see what it is and either think it's fun or funny. I like people to feel like happy and like funny, like humorous when they look at my art. Um, but yeah, I don't really get too deep with like the meanings behind things. Sometimes I do, like I have this piece that's a skeleton couple and it's their wedding day and it's called Till Death Do Us Part, and like some like meaning I had in it was that on the male's tuxedo, like on his lapel, his flower was a carnation, which is like one of the flowers of death. So like something like that I might use the meaning for in my pieces, but I don't want like the whole thing to be like a real like mind bender, you know? And when I get ideas for pieces, it usually just comes to me like in my head and I'll see it and I was like, oh, I want to make that. That's cool.
Yeah,
So
like just having people. I guess there's no way to really like explain it. I guess like right, it's just kind of like intuitive, and I guess you just want people to have a good time viewing it. Like,
yeah, like I
yeah,
don't want them like
yeah,
of course there's art where you have to like really think about it and it has like a social commentary or political commentary. But I really am all about just having fun and having other people have fun and be happy, and so that's why I try to use like humor in my pieces. Like a lot
yeah,
of times like my titles for the piece will be quite humorous to what like the piece is.